So, everybody, as the Omicron variant approaches, and COVID cases are starting to climb again because the weather is getting a bit colder, a news reporter brought up to White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, why aren't we doing more to get people tested? Why aren't we spending more? Why aren't we making more of an effort to sort of control the virus, especially as this new variant rears its head and as winter is just around the corner. And so here's a brief little confrontation that's been making the rounds online between Jen Psaki and someone in the press corps here who raises the question of testing.
Look at what we've done over the course of time. We've quadrupled the size of our testing plan. We've cut the cost significantly over the past few months. And this effort to push to ensure insurers you're able to get your tests refunded means 150 million Americans will be able to get free tests.
It's kind of complicated though. Why not just make them free and give them out and have them available everywhere?
Should we just send one to every American?
Maybe.
Then what happens if every American has one test? How much does that cost, and then what happens after that?
All I know is that other countries seem to be making them available in greater quantities for less money.
Well, I think we share the same objective, which is to make them less expensive and more accessible, right? Every country's going to do that differently.
Right. Every country's going to do that differently. Some countries are going to give people tests for free, like every other first world country on earth whose healthcare system is actually designed to treat people, is going to simply give people free tests. We have a different way of doing it, whereas we have to negotiate with insurance companies such that, if you fall within this income range or this and that, you can then be reimbursed for your test so that it becomes free after you go through those proper channels. It's just a difference in the way we do things. To answer her question about how much would it cost to give a test to every American, well, even if you buy the fucking tests retail, that's like $10 a test. Now, if you're buying 350 million tests, you're probably going to get a bit of a break on that price, I would think. Right? You're going to get some sort of bulk discount. But let's say you don't. Let's say you pay full retail $10 a pop times 350 million. What's that? $3.5 billion?
About, yeah.
So that's what it would cost to get everybody a COVID test. There, I just did the math for you mentally in 10 seconds. That's what it would cost.
And it's not going to cost that because not everyone needs one.
Well, not everyone needs one, and you're going to get and you're not going to pay full retail.
Right.
You could probably do it for $1 billion. You can get everybody a test.
Right.
Okay. How much does it cost to send out letters about how grateful we ought to be for the American Rescue Plan? Because I got a letter from the Biden White House detailing what was in that plan. I got another letter detailing why I should be thankful for the child tax credit because I got 2 kids. That costs some money.
Mm-hmm.
Postage on that ain't free.
Yeah,
send them that.
Well, it's another example. I mean, what very often strikes me, especially in the way we've handled this pandemic versus other countries, is how unworthy the United States is to continue to have this dominant leadership role among Western countries.
Right.
It doesn't merit that status. It's the shithole country of the West. It is the worst governed country among Western states. So
especially in terms of healthcare outcomes. Twice per capita in terms of healthcare expenses. And like what, 29th, 30th in outcomes? That was pre-pandemic. God knows what it is now.
Well, and also wealth and income inequality, happiness, education, infant mortality. The only thing keeping us in place is we are still the world's reserve currency. We have a lot of money, not properly distributed to the population, but in the country, in our coffers, and this enormous military footprint that we have. That's what's keeping us in place, as with all the other empires that preceded us before they fell. But when you see things like this, it's just unimaginable that push is not going to come to shove over the next 10 years and end up shoving the United States off its perch as a world leader.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, we talked about how we talked in our interview with Walker Bragman that's going to be coming out shortly about the Democrats' hypocrisy in terms of everyone needs to get vaccinated. Every individual who chooses not to get vaccinated is a Trump loving, backwards, science denying moron, basically. But they won't lift the IP patent so that like a billion people who have not been vaccinated yet can be vaccinated in countries throughout the world. And so you have Psaki giving an answer like that when it comes to giving everybody free tests so that everybody can get tested when they suspect that they have COVID. She will say, well, what? It's going to cost a lot of money to vaccinate everybody, right? We can't just, not vaccinate. It's going to cost a lot of money to send everybody a free test, right? Do you suggest we do that? Really? How practical is that? Yet here is Jen Psaki. And I haven't queued this up properly yet, so we'll improvise a bit here. But here is Jen Psaki thoroughly going after Donald Trump for not properly testing before the debate with Joe Biden.
No one should be surprised that currently in Congress, as we're looking at the government staying open, you have supporters of the former president who withheld information reportedly about testing positive and appeared apparently at a debate, also held events at the White House reportedly with military veterans and military families reportedly. Many of you covered, so you could confirm that, and did that without disclosing. And these supporters of the former president are advocating for shutting the federal government down so that 20% of the public who are refusing to get vaccinated or tested can be free to infect their coworkers, our children, filling hospitals. That is what they are advocating for.
Right, that's what they're advocating for. So see, the onus is always on the people to act right. It's never on the government to deliver. It's never on the system to produce good results. The onus is on the people to act right. The former president, they think they're doing this big own by never saying his name, right? That's just like red meat to the liberal base. Oh, I love how she calls him the former president. She should just call him 45. That would be the way to really get them to really come in their jeans over it. But, so yeah, Trump didn't test properly pre-debate. His supporters are advocating we shut down the government to keep people from getting vaccinated and tested. Yet a perfectly reasonable question. Hey, why don't we just provide people tests free of charge? Well, no, we can't do that. And so, that's it in a nutshell.
Well, that goes with not waiving the IP protections for the pharmaceutical companies, which from the beginning was insane and really demonstrated how you often point this out, that people will talk about all the deaths under Stalin to show that communism doesn't work, but they never talk about instances where capitalism doesn't work. Capitalism has proven itself incapable of solving a pandemic. Right. Because under communism, every motherfucker would have gotten that vaccine.
Right. Exactly.
Period. But these companies have to make their profits, and so they won't share the formula. And then you have Bill Gates out there lying about why. Oh, yeah, well, no, it's not that. It's that they don't have the manufacturing facilities, and they damn well do, and he damn well knows it.
Right, of course. And under capitalism, you don't maximize profits by maximizing sales. You maximize profits by maximizing revenue, maximizing dollars. Right, if it was important to maximize sales, a beer at a Yankee game would cost $3. They'd probably sell 10 times the amount of beer at $3 a beer, than they do at $13-14 a beer. Right. But the way the numbers crunch out, they would rather sell, whatever, maybe not 10 times the amount, but they'd rather sell 25% the volume of beers at $14 a pop than make beer affordable to everybody. Right. Because even if fewer people can buy beer, they're still going to make more money selling fewer beers at a higher markup per beer, which is fine if you want to be a capitalist when it comes to selling beer at a baseball game. But when it comes to medicine, that model obviously has a lot of problems. Thank you, everybody, for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe wherever you saw it, on YouTube, on Rumble, or on Facebook. We have channels on all three of those platforms. Also, consider helping us create more content by becoming a member at patreon.com/do dissidents or on Facebook, where you can become a supporter right through our Facebook page and get bonus content every week, as well as call-in access to our live stream shows. Thank you very much for your continued support.